All right, Shalom. You tune in live with Isupk Virginia Sabbath service class. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Like Madyam, which means to stand, or Panya Hakwadam, which means turn and face the east. We're gonna do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kwadash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak Wavka, Thaba'ah, Ratazaka, Haya Aisha Ba'aratasa Kawa Haya Bashamayim Nathan Nawa Kao Yawam Wasalak Nawa Khabawaf Nawa Kasalak Nawa Khabawathi Nawa Wala'a Tabayai Nawa Banasaya one Abal Hawashai Nawa Mayan Ra Kaya Laka Hamalakwa Waha'ala Wahatapara La Avalumium Ama and in the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. So be. Do the prayer for the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Baba Kushar, Nathan Lanawa, Haka, Haka, La Ba'a, Kal Makala, Wakal Malawa, Haka, La Tahar, Hamatazariah, Haka, Haka, La Hakwiyam, Hamathia, Haka, Al Rakhawath, Hatamaala, Lagarashan, Bashim Yahweh, the water, and in the English, Yahweh. I mean, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, or in the name of Jesus, which is Yahweh Shai in the Hebrew, in the English. Please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits to cast them out in the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you, so be it. I'll do Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Al Hahorim, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Izoria, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'arataza, Al Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al Yanawam, Shemorka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shemorka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al Yad, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'a, Yakaka, Wayarach, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamar, Makal Rad, Yashamar, Afna Pashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza Azka, Wawa'aka, Ma'aita, Wa'aid, Iwalam, Ama. And in the English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. So be it. We're going to do Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Al Damayala Ka, Al Thacharash, wa Al Dashakwat, Al Kayahana, Awayabyaka, Yahama Yawan, wa Mashanayaka, Nasha'awa. It's like Mashanayaka, Nasha'awa, Ra'ash, Al Aimaka, Ya'ariyamwa, Sawad, Wayataya Aitazawa, Al Tazapa Wanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakida, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yasha'ala, Iwad, Kaya, Nawa Aitazawa, La, Yakhadwa, Alyaka, Barya, Yakarathwa, Ahalya, Adawan, Wayashima'alia, Mawaaba, Wahagoria, Gabal, Waimawan, Waimalak, Palasha, Aim Yashabia, Tazawar, Gum Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zarawai, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Aishalaham, Kamadian, Kasaya Sara'a, Kayabyan, Banakar, Kwayashwan, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayanda Ara, Hayawa, Daman, La Adama, Shayatamwa, Nadayatmawa, Ka'ira, Wakasaaba, Wakasabak, Wakatazal Manai, Kao, Nasayakamwa, Ashar, Salaki, Ashar, Amarwa, Nayarisha, Lanawa, Af, Na'awaf, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagalgala, Kakwash, Lapunya Raka, Kaash, Taba Ira Ya Ira, Wakalahaba, Dalahat, Horyum, Khan, Daridatma, Basa Irika, Wabasawapafka, Daba Halam, Mala'a, Punyahum, Kualawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shemka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya Baalwa, Aid Ya Aid, Waya Haparwa, Waya Abadwa, Waya Daiwa, Kaya, Atha, Shemka, Yahawa, Labadka, Al Yawan, Al Kal Ha'aratasa, Amon. And in the English, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, and hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Selah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin at the brook of Kishon, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeeb. Yea, all their princes as Zabah and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth their wood, as the flames set up the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. So be it. Blessings in Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahweh Shah. Wa Mayaka Allah. Wa Allahayim. Matazab Yah. Allah Wap Yahana. Ha Allah Wapyam. Ha Saranyam. Ha Quatazayanyam. Ha Kayayoyam. Wa Ha Guathiam. Yahweh. Bashim Yahweh Shah. The water Amon. And in the English, bless you Yahweh. And Yahweh Shah. And Michael. And the angels, commanding General Yahana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. Saw, which means to turn. All right. Shabyam, which means to be seated. We'll go ahead and get started. All right. Christ. All right. Tune in live. Sabbath service. Isupk, Virginia, you tune in live with the Sabbath service. All right, Most High in Christ. So we're going to get into and break down and go over our prayers. That's what we're doing today. The prayers that we say, why are we saying them? You understand? What is the importance, the significance? What do they mean? We have all these prayers for. What is the purpose of these things? We're going to get into it. Of course, you watching on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Sign in for attendance, your name, city, and state. All right. Let's make sure we get you in there. All right. Go ahead. There we go. All right. So our prayers, as you know, we send up prayers. We say these prayers. The prayers that we say are biblical. They're straight out of the Bible, the things that we are saying, and we say them with good reason. All of the culture and the heritage that the disciples, that prophets, that Christ, all of the things that you read, see, and hear about in the Bible, even though many of which you may not understand growing up in the world outside of the truth, which is outside of the Isupk, would not have a good and proper understanding of what's in the scriptures and why. All right. And why what's being said. This is the culture and the heritage of what it means to be an Israelite is contained here in the scriptures. And that is what we teach here in the Isupk. You understand? So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go over our prayers, of course, like I said there. We're going to start and read in the Hebrew and in the English, just what you've heard, but we're going to go over and explain why these things are here. All right. So we're going to start with this that we have. The first prayer that we send up is this Matthew chapter 6 and verse 8 through 13. We're going to read it in the Hebrew,
and then we'll go over what exactly it's saying in the English and then why it's saying these things. All right, so it's just a few verses, so I'm going to just go ahead and read the entire thing. I'm going to read the entire prayer that Christ said. You can find this in Matthew chapter 6 and verses 8 through 13. It is known as the so like 6 and 13. Right. All right, so we're going to start in Matthew chapter 6 and verse 8. Just a moment. 8 through 13. Pray. Starts at verse 9. So we're going to go down to verse 9. Give us a minute. Right? All right. So this is where we get it from. So we'll go over that. I'm going to just read the whole thing here. So it is Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim. You understand? I'll break it down. So what it says, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Quadash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'a, Ratazai Ka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathan Nawa, Lakam, Kau, Yawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kabawath Yanawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawath Yanawa, Wala'a, Tabaya Nawa, Bonasaya 1, Ball, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahatapara, La'awalamyam, Aman. All right. So that is those verses there. You can find where this prayer is. It was taken from it in Matthew, the 6th chapter. All right. So when we go back and read it now, when you're dealing with it in the English, I'm going to read and take a look here. All right. Most sign Christ. Just sign in for attendance. Make sure you got it down. All right. So the first part, when you get into the prayer in the English, it says Abanawa. Abanawa means our Father. You understand? The first, that's why it's very important to understand the words that's being said. It's very important to understand the language that it was written. You understand the language communicated by the Israelites. Like our native language is Hebrew, or the Lashawan Quadash. We are not Hebrews only per se. Hebrew means I borrow from the past. There was a man named Eber, as it is in English. His name is Ibar in the Hebrew, which means from the past. After the flood, he kept the old ways, the ways that were passed down from Noah, the ways that Noah learned from his descendants or from his forefathers that the Lord gave to Adam in the book of Genesis in the Garden of Eden, which was keeping the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, obeying his words, knowing what animals were clean and unclean, knowing when to bring the sacrifice and the first fruits. We know that he knew this because Adam's sons knew it, because Cain and Abel brought both offerings. They both brought offerings to the Most High in the book of Genesis. You understand? One brought offerings that the Lord requires, which is what Habal did, or which what Abel did. And Cain was later became, or the spirit of our oppressor today, the devil that the Bible speaks of, the first recorded murderer in history. He brought what he felt God should accept, which is the spirit of our oppressor today, always to challenge and come up against the instructions that the Lord had set up. You understand? Of course, everybody knows that Cain murdered Abel. You understand? So just as a little backdrop to that, when it says Abanawa, this is talking about our Father. The suffix Nawa, that shows ownership, meaning this is not everyone's father. The God of the Bible is not everyone's father. Because of Christianity, the Christian church teaches that God loves all the boys and girls and children of the world, and we are all God's children, but that is not true according to the Bible. That's why it says Abanawa, which is our Father. In the book of when Christ is doing his times, he's going through the record. You'll see in John, the 4th chapter, he met a woman at the well. It's a very famous story. Most of the people do not understand it. This woman at the well was not an Israelitess. She was not one of our people. She was not of 12 tribes of Israel. She was a heathen that had been living in our land since the days of First Kings, when the so-called northern tribe, which today are known as the so-called Hispanics and Native Americans, when they were removed out of their homeland, you understand, by the king of Assyria. Many or the bulk of them came over through, I believe, the Euphrates River and sailed all the way over to a land known as Arsareth, which today is known as America, which later became your Taínos, your Mayans, your Incas, your Aztecs, your Arawaks, all of the Native American and Seminole Indians of North, South, Central America. That is who they are today. But that is where that history, that story comes from. Christ explained to them that this woman is not one of us. That's why he told the disciples in Matthew, the 10th chapter, don't go into any city of the Samaritans. Don't go into cities where they live, because they are not Israelites, and these covenants that are being set up are not for them. So when Christ is saying this prayer, when Christ is saying this and teaching his disciples what to pray for, which is what and why we are praying for it, because Christ is teaching them the understanding that us serving God, serving the Most High, teaching about Christ is not about bringing all nations or all races of people together. That's why when you start this prayer, it says Abba Nawa, meaning our Father, not everybody's Father, our Father, something we have for us. This is not the Father, the God of the Chinese, the Arabs, the Africans, the East Indians. All of the other nations have their own gods. You understand? This is the God of black people, not Africans, not melanated people, so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, West Indians, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. This is our Father, Abba Nawa. You understand? So, and then he says Shabbat Shemayim. Shabbat Shemayim, that means that he is in heaven. Shemayim means in heaven. Shemayim, yum is a suffix which means plural. You understand? Because there are more than one heaven. You have the heavens, which is why it says yum, Y-A-M. In the book of Genesis, when it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens, plural, and the earth. That's the word in Genesis. This is the same word here in our language, Shemayim. Shemayim is the heavens. You have a heaven, which is the sky where the birds fly. That's why it keeps mentioning heavens different times in Genesis that nobody in the world understands, because, of course, you have to know the language it's written in order to understand what's actually happening. And you need the prophets of the Lord to teach you what's actually happening, because the Bible is not a book you can just open and read it and know what it says. You understand? So you have the heaven where the birds are, where they fly, which is known as the sky to us in English. All right. Then you have the heavens, you have the outer space, or the firmament, which is the outer layer of the actual planet where we live in, past the sky where the birds fly. But you have space, outer space where the planets are, the sun, the moon, the stars. You have what our oppressor was known as outer space. That is the heavens, more heavens. Then you have the throne room in the fourth dimension, which is where the Most High is. It's a different dimension from where we live. That's why Christ is telling you, our Father, which art in heaven. The Father is in heaven in the fourth dimension. In that throne room in heaven, which you can read about, I believe you can read about it in Daniel. You can read about it in Daniel, the 9th chapter. It tells you about it in the book of Revelation with the beast around the throne room, the 24 elders, which are the Most High's war council that he is surrounded by with crowns on their heads at all times. You understand? You have the 4 beasts, terrifying beasts around the throne. You have the crystal sea, like that Superman they put in that Fortress of Solitude for Superman, where he's got a sea of crystal at his North Pole fortress. That is our customs. That's the Most High in the Bible. That John the Revelator getting a revelation about the Most High, about those who serve Christ, to understand what the Most High's throne room looks like. This is our heritage to know all of these things. It may not seem like these things are very important when you're hearing the scripture, when you're seeing it, you're hearing it broken down, but there's a lot of information to understand why Christ is saying that. Our language is very simple and is also very complex because it has multiple meanings. Just like when we speak, the things that we say are usually written in slang and we understand each other. Like if I say that cat over there, or look at my dog got a new dog. You understand? If I say my dog got a new pit or my dog got a new dog, you would understand that I'm talking about a friend of mine's got a new pit bull or a Rottweiler. You understand? If I say that cat over there is crazy, you would know that I'm not talking about a Siamese or a feline, you understand, eating tuna fish out of a can. I'm talking about a person. If I say he's a snake, you understand, that does not mean that he's a boa constrictor or an anaconda. That just means that this is a man with a low down, dirty character, which is exactly what was being described in the book of Genesis when the serpent talked to Eve. So there's a lot of important information that you can learn just from understanding. That's why we breaking down this prayer of what Christ was saying. So the Most High is in heaven, sitting in his throne room with the angels on the left and angels on the right. The angels on the right, the angels that he sends to do peace and wonderful things and blessings. And then the angels on the left are the angels that are known as so-called demons or evil angels. They both serve the Most High. You understand? That's what's in his throne room. So when it says Shabbat Shemayim, they're in heaven. Quadash, the word Quadash means holy. Holy means separate. And it's important to understand that it's saying that the God of the Bible is separate because he is not the God of all the other people. Just by saying God is holy, this means that by God being holy, he cannot be for the Africans. He cannot be for the Asians, the Arabs, the East Indians, our oppressor, the Polynesians, you understand, all of them, and still be holy. That's not what holy means. That's not what separate means. He cannot be joined together with Allah and Buddha and Ra and Krishna, and can't be joined together in let's coexist and we'll all get along. That is what Christianity teaches. He can't be together with things that are against him, that break his laws, like eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, or being a homosexual, allowing a woman to teach the Bible, or being a lesbian, or having abortions, or getting high, or worshiping other gods. You understand? He's separate from all of those things. All right? That's what holy means. Okay? Haya, Shamka. You understand? Shamka, that means his name. His name. Ka is a suffix, means his, or showing ownership belonging to someone else. His name. Why is it talking about his name? Because this is the God of black people, the Hispanics, Native Americans. Your name is very important. Your name, your reputation is something extremely important. That's why you are here. Stop playing with my name. Put respect on my name. Don't play with my name. Keep my name out your mouth. Don't play with my name. You're going to respect my name. You understand? My name good out here in these streets. My name is my name. That's what Marlo Stanfield said. Don't play with my name. Don't disrespect my name. Don't put salt on my name. You understand? Keep my name out your mouth. Like, that's black man talk. That's how the Lord operates in the Bible. He said, your name is holy. Our Father's name is holy. Respect that name. Don't mix him in talking about all gods are the same. We all serve the same God. Our Father in heaven is holy. You want to respect his name. You understand? Like, all of this is contained in here. You understand? Yahweh. His name is Yahweh, not Yahuwah, not Yehudi, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not Jaja, not Yehovah. You understand? Not Elohim. All of these other names and words and titles and things you're making up. This is his proper name, Yahweh. In the Hebrew, means the Lord, the most high power. You understand? In Spanish, it's todopoderoso, all powerful is the Lord's name. His name is also his reputation. That's why you hear brothers say, don't play with my name. Respect my name. Respect my rep. So when you hear in the name of Christ, that's talking about his reputation, not repeating the word Jesus, 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 like a chant or a spell, which is what the Christian church teaches you. Like Beetlejuice, a Bloody Mary, a Freddy Krueger, a Candyman. You just say the name over and over and it'll conjure up some genie that if you just concentrate hard enough, all your wildest wishes will come true. That is not God in the Bible. That is not Christ in the Bible. You understand? And furthermore, Christ is not the Most High. That's why he said, our Father. You understand? He's not schizophrenic. Him and the Father are not the same person. You understand? Christ said numerous times, I go to the Father to prepare a place for you. There is none good but one, that is the Most High. Christ said numerous times he is not the Father. He was a regular black man, just like all the rest of us. Would have been a Negro from the tribe of Judah that no one would have thought he was anything important if he were alive today, just like no one thinks the tribe of Judah is anything important today now. You understand? Christ was a black man from the tribe of Judah, from the ghettos and the slums of Nazareth. All right? So he said, the Lord is his name, Malak with Ka. Malakwath is the kingdom. You understand? Your kingdom. You understand? Why is it talking about the kingdom? Because this purpose of coming into the truth and serving Christ in the Most High is all about building a kingdom. It's not about building your church. It's not about your personal group with your personal thoughts, your personal beliefs, your personal wishes, what you like in the scriptures and what you don't like, you take out. It's not about what you want. That's why in the Isupk, under Commander General Yohana, we are not teaching our own personal likes and preferences. We are teaching the laws, statutes, and commandments and orders that the Most High passed down from the prophets. This has always been our heritage. That's why we do the salute, the smote the breast. That's why we wear the tams and war scarves. That's why we dress in warlike apparel. That's why we have the chains and all of these things. Christ sits on the throne of King David. King David established the nations. This is not worshiping King David. This is not a star. This is King David's name in the Hebrew, the Dawada. It is his signature because the Lord put Christ on King David's throne, because King David made us 12 tribes in one nation as opposed to being 12 tribes all separate, you understand, and not united under one the way that the Lord intended from the very beginning. You understand? Christ sits upon King David's throne. You would be a fool to think there's some throne that doesn't have a symbol. You understand? This means we work for Christ. Christ has that power and authority. We have that authority. That's why we wear it. You understand? It's always been our custom and our culture, you understand, to wear jewelry. All right? It's not worshiping King David. It is obeying and following behind Christ, which is how you serve the Most High, which is why we have the shield, just like a law enforcement officer has a shield, because he is enforcing laws, we're enforcing the teachings of Christ. And once America continues to fall, we will be the law for our people. That's why we fix our people's problems in Baltimore and in Norfolk and everywhere else, so that we can have this kingdom that Christ is praying about. You can't have a kingdom if everyone disobeys the Most High. That's how we ended up in slavery, eating pork, worshiping the sun god on Sunday, being Muslims, accepting all kind of things that the Lord never accepted, women dressing like men, men dressing like women. It's all kind of sex changes, crazy nonsense, eating abominable foods, worshiping the gods of the other nations, voting for your leaders and all kind of mayors and nonsense. That's not how we have a kingdom. You understand? So the prayer Christ is saying is about bringing this kingdom about. That's why you have officers and captains and generals, because that's how you have a kingdom. Structure, order, rank, a military, nation, people that solve the issues between our people, other than us getting murdered or calling 911, so that they'll show up and take everybody away and then foreclose and take over our entire communities, and we end up homeless like they're doing in Norfolk and Richmond and Chesapeake and Baltimore and everywhere else we are, because this purpose of building the kingdom has been supplanted by going to church and having your own personal religion and fake Israelite groups, as opposed to building this one kingdom of Christ with one leader and one government and one military and one body with one faith and one Lord, just like it says in Ephesians, the 4th chapter. You understand? That is what Christ is praying about. This is what's going on. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Thy will be done, meaning the Lord's will, what he wants, not our personal will. What does the Lord want? Thy will be done in earth. Aratazah, thy will be done. Taba'ah. Aratazah means that's on the earth here. This is where the kingdom is going to be, in earth. It's not going to be you die and go live in some sandcastle in the sky with Big Mama and Tupac and Michael Jackson and all the other people that died before, where it's just nothing but partying and cookout. An actual kingdom is a place that you live. America is a kingdom. China is a kingdom. Russia is a kingdom. You understand? Like that's what a kingdom is. And Christ will rule in the Most High's kingdom on the earth. That is how he becomes the King of Kings. Meaning, if he is the king and you are a king, you will give and you will take orders from him. And the other nations will not want to take orders from some black man from the ghetto. So there's going to be war to force them to take orders from Christ. There's going to be war with all of the nations. That's what you're praying for. Thy kingdom come. Christ's kingdom comes with World War III and thermonuclear war. That's how you get the kingdom. America became a kingdom by killing the Mexicans and the Native Americans and enslaving and killing hundreds of millions of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's how America became a kingdom. That's how Christ is going to establish his kingdom over the entire planet. That's in the prayer. You understand? This has nothing to do with tambourines and choir rehearsal and intercessory prayer and old ladies with white gloves giving lipstick smudges all over your dress shirt. This is a completely different spirit in the New Testament and the Old Testament than what we have been taught our entire life. That is why we're going over this. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Because in heaven, everyone obeys the Most High. You understand? In earth, people are not obeying the Lord. That's why there's so much hell and death and disease and meningitis and hepatitis and monkeypox and AIDS and COVID and cancer, because the Lord's will is not being done on earth, but the kingdom is going to come on earth where all of the earth is going to do the Lord's will. You understand? All nations are going to be under Christ and his black, Hispanic, and Native American men that he puts in charge to rule every continent, every stitch of land, all the skies and seas and airwaves on the entire planet. That is the Lord's kingdom. That is his will. Everybody else is going into captivity with iron and chains to serve out a punishment for what they have done to the Lord's people. You understand? Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Nathan. By Shemayim, you have that again in heaven. Nathan means to give. Give us. Lanawa. Give us this day. You understand? Our daily bread. Lakam is bread. Meaning the Lord is giving us our bread just like he gave us bread in the wilderness. He fed us when we came out of Egypt. The Lord has the ability for us to be sustained and to live. That's why it's important to build this kingdom. The more and more America has food shortages and this shortage and that shortage, we are supposed to have our own supply to ration out to our people. We are not supposed to be at the mercy of Tyson. We are not supposed to be at the hey, shalom, brother. Y'all shalom. Shalom, sis, shalom, brother. All right. We are not supposed to be at the mercy of Tyson's chicken farm. You understand? Just seen some video in Kansas City where they had almost 2 or 3 miles of dead cattle. You understand? Whether the cattle all died of a heart attack or if they were paid to kill all the damn cattle to drive up an artificial crisis so that they can make the same beef now be $10 a pound. That's normally $3 a pound, even though one cow is of almost 2,000 or 3,000 pounds worth of meat, which is no reason for beef to be super expensive. When one cow is 3,000 pounds of meat, we are supposed to have a kingdom. We're supposed to be building our kingdom where we have our own separate water supply, our own separate food supply, our own separate education, because we have our own separate God and our separate leadership, our separate culture, our separate ways of marriage, our separate dietary laws. These things are how we become safe. We maintain ourselves. We don't have another nation of people that is able to come and go and kidnap us and murder and arrest us and mass incarcerate us by the millions and flood drugs into our communities. If we were building our kingdom the way that the Lord said, which is what we're doing in Isupk, following Christ's example and Moses' example and Noah's example and all of the orders that the law and the prophets say to do, which Christ said in Matthew 5:17 that he did not come to do away with, we would have our own everything. We would have damn near our own separate society, our own separate country, you understand, where we are. Right here in America. Commander General Yohanan said it years ago. All of this, us scattered all across the country, blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans need to be in about 4 or 5 different places all across the country. We need to be in about 4 or 5 different places. Of course, Commander General Yohana had mentioned this, so that we are not spread out to be exploited and picked off and picked apart by these other nations of people. So in order to get our labor and our resources and our skills and our ability and our food and our cuisine and our help so that their empire would function, they would have to give us as a people, as a kingdom, they would give us whatever we asked for. Otherwise, their society would absolutely crumble and we would just stay to ourselves. That is how every other nation of people, you understand, different groups of people all in the same land, is supposed to be separate like the Lord intended. That's how we fix ourselves. That is what we do here in the ISUPK. You understand? That's why we're building up schools to teach our people. This is how we have a kingdom. We say the same things. We live the same way. We have the same beliefs. We serve the same God. We live by the same rules. We teach our sons and daughters to follow and obey and live by these same rules. And we have the one leader that the Lord set up, you understand, which is Commander General Yohana, with our army, you understand, the prophets, the teachers, and everywhere we are, so that we fix and put our society in proper structure and order. You understand? So it says, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us. Yawam is this day. Yawam is day. Kal Yawam. Salak. Wa means and salak. Salak nawa. Nawa means us. Salak means to forgive. That's why you hear the word salakia. That means forgive me. Or salak nawa means the Lord is going to forgive us what we are asking for, from all the sins and crimes and wrongs and things that we have done wrong against the Most High. We're asking the Lord to forgive us. Because there are many things that we do that the Lord does not like. And the Lord forgiving us, you understand? The Lord forgiving us does not mean that there is zero consequence for the actions that we have done, which is very important to understand. That's why it's very important to know and to, you understand, be circumspect about what you do and what you say. Being forgiven does not make all of the things that you've done magically go away. You can be forgiven for committing a murder. That does not make the murder go away. You understand? You can be forgiven for, doing something. That does not mean there's no consequence for what you have done. That is not what forgiveness is. You understand? Depending on what the situation is, you being forgiven is, okay, you killed my loved one, and now because I forgive you, I'm not going to do to you when I have the opportunity to do to you what you did for me, which is I'm not going to take a loved one away from you. I'm not going to take your life because you took my loved one's life. That does not take away the consequence of the action and the repercussions for what you have done by you getting forgiveness. That is not what that means. You understand? Like if you have, you understand, let's just leave that alone. All right. That doesn't make there no longer be consequences for your actions. All right. That's why we are building the kingdom, which is what Christ is praying for, which is what he's teaching his disciples. And in this kingdom, you understand, we are going to, as a people, consider our actions before we act. We're going to consider the consequences before we act, because otherwise, if we don't do that, then we cannot have a kingdom, we cannot have order, we cannot be holy, the Lord will not be with us. That's why Christ is saying this prayer. That is what these things, that's why we're going over, all right? Forgive us our debts as we forgive those who trespass against us, you understand, and lead us not into temptation, meaning don't lead us into temptation, all right? What is leading us into temptation? The oppressor tempts us with getting high, tempts us with the music, with TVs, with everything, getting high. You understand? Being a degenerate, having unlawful sex. They tempting in the damn Buzz Lightyear movie. The new Buzz Lightyear movie, they got Buzz Lightyear being a damn sodomite. He's a toy. And they are tempting and pressing that LGBT culture on the children with the new Buzz Lightyear movie, with him having some gay kiss scene with the only black space ranger in the damn movie, some young black space ranger with cornrows. He, a 30, 40-year-old Buzz Lightyear spaceman, is supposed to have some love affair with this young black cornrowed space ranger toy action figure that Pixar must put in the goddamn movie because they want to tempt your children into that evil lifestyle of homosexuality. That's why they put it in the movies. That's why it's in the music, along with the getting high. You understand? That Mother's Day and Father's Day and 4th of July, all of the holidays that the Lord telling us not to celebrate because he is holy and he is separate. And that is his reputation. And we are supposed to be holy and separate like him. All of those things, we are supposed to follow the Most High, just like Christ did. You understand? Your phone, your company is going to tell you Happy Mother's Day, Father's Day, 4th of July. You're going to get emails from the gym that you go to, your apartment complex and homeowners thing. They're going to tell you Happy Mother's Day and Father's Day and Christmas and Thanksgiving. Like this society is set to tempt you to sin against the Lord. In a righteous kingdom, there will be no advertisements for shrimp or lobster or crab. There will be no Happy Mother's Day, Father's Day. There will be no church invitations, Easter Sunday, Happy Ramadan, Happy Eid. You won't have any of that in a righteous kingdom or a righteous society, and the Lord will not tempt you with such evil. It is sin and wickedness that's tempting you with evil, which is why Christ is teaching his disciples to pray for the kingdom. That is why we say this prayer. This is what it means. This is what it's about. All right? And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. How do we get delivered from evil? You understand? But deliver us from evil. So let's get back to that. All right. Deliver or to save. Lead us not into temptation. Wala'a tabaya nawa banasaya one. A ball. Hawashai now. Hawashai means to forgive. Salaki. Hawashai means salvation. That's why Christ's name is Yahawashai. That's also how you say Joshua in the Hebrew, Yahawashai. In English, it's two different names. Jesus in the English, you understand? We're talking about the real Jesus, not Caesar Borgia, which is that white image of Jesus Christ, the grandma, mommy, and auntie, everybody, and Tia, and Abuela, and Jocelyn, and Maria prays to. Not him. Talking about the real image of Jesus Christ, a so-called black man named Yahawashai Mashiach. Well, Hawashai means to save. Hawashai means the Lord Savior. Yah means it belongs to the Most High. So you have Yahawashai, which is his name, which is our King. Hamashiach, which is the Messiah, which is Mashiach. His name means the Lord saves, or the Lord's salvation. So Hawashai means Savior, salvation, or deliverance. And then you have Hawashai Nawa. Deliver us, save us. You understand? Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Ra, save us from evil. Ra means evil. You understand? Save us from evil. Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Ra, Kaya. Deliver us from evil and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. Kaya, Laka, Ha, Malakwath. We have Malakwath again. Malakwath means kingdom. The kingdom. All of this praying to the Most High is not praying to the Most High so that we can make the church grow, so we can have more Sunday services and have a bigger choir celebration and have more old ladies and have the ushers doing steps and marching in the church and bring in more white people and have more integration and have more, you understand, more openness and have women be preachers now because we modern and we celebrating the new direction that the church is moving in, and have two men be married. You understand? The pastor and the first nigga, they up in there all soft and kissing and saying this is God now, and two women. You understand? All of that nonsense. This is about building a kingdom, which is why you are not allowed to have separate fake Israelite groups, which are just churches, mosques, separate beliefs, separate gods, all of these separate groups and organizations, separate leaders. You are not allowed to have that. You can't have a kingdom that way. That's why no matter how much the Black Panthers and the Nation of Islam and the Marcus Garvey movement and the Blackity Black movements and Kemet and Egypt this and Rasta that and church this and run for mayor this and civil rights this, NAACP that, Urban League this, and fight for our rights, and Benjamin Crump and Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and run for mayor and night watch service and candlelight visuals and prayer to take back the neighborhood. None of that works because God does not want any of that. God wants a kingdom to be built, and you cannot build it your own way with your own leaders doing what you think that God will accept. This is what the prayer that Christ is teaching his disciples for. I mean, this is what it's about. This is what it means. It's all about the kingdom. You cannot be your own leader in a kingdom. There cannot be a second Senate that sets itself up and have the United States Senate all within America. That's why they stormed the Capitol, to overthrow the existing government so that they can make it be what they want. Because you can't have two governments in the same place. That's why King David had civil war with the house of Saul, to make sure that everyone obeyed who the Lord put in charge. You understand? So this is what it is. Deliver us from evil and forgive us as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation. But thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. So be it. You understand? And the glory forever, all of that glory of being the God of the Bible, that glory that he gets come from his people setting up the kingdom. Just like, think about it as your children. You have sons and daughters. The glory that you are going to have is going to be the sons and daughters to continue what you have worked to establish. That's our goal. All of this living and, I'm just living for the day, just living for tomorrow, paycheck to paycheck, keeping my head above water, trying to survive. That's not life. Just getting high, chasing tail, getting money, getting degrees, get some money and retire. That's not life. That's not how life works. This is weird. Life is supposed to be about us building our kingdom so that it can be maintained for the future generations. You cannot have the glory of building your kingdom if your son puts on lipstick and a dress and says he's going to be a woman now. You're going to be dead by 40 years old. You can't have that glory if your daughter aborts and murders all your grandbabies. This is the end of your family line. You end here. And the kingdom, furthermore, is because you are going to inherit the kingdom when you are born back into the earth again. You understand? You're going to inherit it. So if it's a poor job done and you don't set up the kingdom, like the black families and things that set up the HBCUs, that set up the black cities and the black towns, that set up the black businesses like Ebony and Jet Magazine and, black radio stations and this and that, the next generation, because our people built wealth, bought houses, had families and communities, but did not think about or were not focused on building our kingdom, the leaders of our people taught us to join another nation's kingdom. And as a result, the houses that generation bought, the businesses that those families set up, the neighborhoods that those families created, it all got sold away to the Arabs, the Africans, the East Indians. I think some Chinese man owns Jet and Ebony magazine now. It all got sold. The communities got sold. Another nation of people's culture came in. We got crack and heroin and murder and feminism. Then we got abortion. We got shelters. We got LGBT. We vote for our leaders, and everything is disintegrated. So what you have worked for those previous generations, those entire cities and towns went to hell and they got sold. Just like DC and Baltimore and Richmond, just like Mosby Courts, which is where black people went and set up lives and things for themselves. It later turned into the projects filled with murder and violence. If you don't build the kingdom, all of the wealth that you have that you work for, all of your education and your degrees, it will be gone in 1 or 2 generations because you don't have a force in place that's focused is to make sure this maintains ours for a kingdom, not your personal salvation, not your personal goals and achievements, which are fine. But if you don't have a nation and a government and a military to protect it, it's going to be gone in a few generations, if not the very next generation. That's why everybody sell Big Mama's house. There's no next generation to inherit it and take it over, to keep the city, to keep the businesses, to keep the ownership. Everything is gone. That is why we must build a kingdom. So we will have a mindset for a kingdom, because that is what the Chinese are building. That's what the oppressor is building. That's what every other nation of people builds, except for this one people. That is why, because we are the children of the Lord, man. All right. So now, that's it on that. Let's see if we got time for one more scripture, because we got an hour. All right. That's it on that. Like, this is the prayer. Give us our daily bread as we forgive our debtors. Like, that's the prayer. All right. That we have. So let's see. What do we want to do? We got time. Psalms 121. Let's see. Let's do 7. Let's see if we got time for 120. We have 50 minutes. Keep this out. All right. Shamarka. Right. Yeah, Shamarka. Psalms 121. All right. Okay. So we're going to go ahead. Lord willing, if I'm teaching next week, we're going to pick up Psalms 121. All right. So just up here. All right. Imadium, which means to stand. Right. Imadium, which means to stand. Wapanya Hakwadam, that means wa, hand. Panya means to face. Face yourself. Panya. Wapanya Hakwadam means turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Let's get to it. Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Quadash, Haya, Shemka, Malakwavka, Baba'a, Ratazayaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathanawa, Lakam, Kau, Yawam, Wasalak Nawa, Chabawath Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawath Yanawa, Wala'ab, Dabaya Nawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahdapawa, La'awalamya, Aman. And in the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. Prayer for the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Wabukashar, Nathan Lanawa, Haka, Haka, Lara Ba'a, Kal Makala, Wakal Marawa, Haka, Latahar, Hamatazariah, Haka, Lahakwiyam, Hamathiyam, Haka, Al-Wakal Wa, Atama Allah, Nagarishan, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, the water in the English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shah, thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Al-Hahoria, Ma'ayan, Yaba'a, Izoriya, Ma'ain, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'aratiza, Al Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al Yanawam, Shamorka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashun, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamorka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al Ya, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Hashemash, La'a, Yachaka, Wayarak, Walayala, Yahweh, Yashamor, Makara, Yashamor, Afna Pashka, Yahweh, Yashamor, Taza'aka, Wawa'aka, Ma'aida, Wa'aid, Iwalam,
Amen. And in the English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. So be it. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim. Al damayalaka. Al dakarash. Wa al dashakwat. Al kayahana. Awayabyaka. Yahama yawan. Wa mashanayaka. Nasha'awa. Ra'ash. Al aimaka. Nasha'awa. Ra'ash. Al Imaka, Yari Yamwa, Sawad, Wayataya Aitazawa, Al Tazapa Wanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakida, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yasha'ala, Iwad, Kaya, Nawa Aitazawa, Lab, Yakhadwa, Auyaka, Baryab, Yakarathwa, Ahalia, Adawam, Wayashima'alia, Mawa'aba, Wahagorian, Gabal, Wa'aimawan, Wa'aimalak, Palashath, Aim Yashabya, Tazawar, Gum Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Sarawai, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Aishalaham, Kamadian, Kasaya Sara'a, Kayabyam, Banakal, Wayashwan, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayan Da'ara, Hayawa, Daman, La Adama, Shayatamwa, Nadayamawa, Kaira, Wakazaaba, Wakazabak, Wakatazal Manai, Cow, Nasayakamwa, Amarwa, Salaki, Ashar, Amarwa, Nayarisha, Lanawa, Af, Naawaf, Alahayam, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagalgala, Kakwash, Lapanya Rakha, Kaash, Taba Ira Yaira, Wakalahaba, Dalahat, Haryam, Kun, Daradatma, Basa Iraka, Wabasawa Pathka, Tabahalam, Mala'a, Punyaha, Qualawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shemka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Wayaba'alwa, Ai, Wayahaparwa, Waya Abadwa, Waya Da'aiwa, Kaya, Abda, Shemka, Yahawa, Labadka, Al Yawan, Al Kal Ha'aratazah, and in the English, keep not thy silence, O Yahweh, and hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have created crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Do unto them, Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeeb, yea, all their princes as Abba and as Almuna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind. Salakia, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth their wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. So be it. Prayer for the power. Blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shah, Wa Mayaka Allah, Wa Allah Hayya, Mataz of Yah, Allah Wapya Hana, Ha Allah Wapya, Ha Saranya, Ha Quatasayanya, Wa Ha Wathya, Salaki, Ha Kaya Yawyam, Wa Ha Wathya, Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shah, the Wada Amut. And in the English, bless you Yahweh, and Yahweh Shah, and Michael, and Gabriel, Salaki, and Michael, and the angels, commanding Judah Yahana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah, thank you, so be it. Curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah, listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the schools. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edom, punishment and destruction to the Edomites and to the nations, to their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, posse comitazi, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Let loose all the plagues. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahweh Shai, Michael and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathen that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it. All right. Right. Sar, which means to turn. Men of Israel gonna get one courtesy salute. Men of it. Let's change this. Men of Israel gonna get one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Mada Shabbat, Madyam, Barak, Yahweh Shemal Shab Rakatham, Yayimata, Sar, which means to turn. Gonna give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Mada Shabbat, Madyam, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Yahweh Shamar, Al Athan, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah to the sisters, Yadi Matah, class dismissed. Be sure to pay your tithes. Right at isupk.com. Tune in, like, share, subscribe. Shalom.